No.
As the first simp, like any words that you'd like to grace us in this episode?
The first simp would just say, yo, dude, just make more adorable romances that aren't related, like sibling related. And get us out of damn high school.
Let's keep it to human relationships as well. And
yeah, well, okay, hold on. Demons are okay. Demons and vampires.
Alrighty,
okay.
And so
Succubi,
with that, guys,
okay,
thanks
right.
for watching. What's up, guys? You are currently listening to the Nii-San Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Xell and Crim, and of course with me.
That's me. I'm Crim, the Asian Avenger.
And yeah, we are your neighborhood-friendly podcast talking about all things pop culture, video games, and anime. So let's see. We today are going to be talking a little bit. We're going to be looking ahead a little bit, and we saw that there are a lot of rom-coms that are coming up. What?
That's
take us into it, Crim, because I know you're excited about this topic.
Wait, why? I mean, but like, okay, so like, there's like a lot of shows that I am super into right now. Like I am so pumped, right? Because we've got this upcoming season. We've got Kaguya-sama season 3, right?
Banger.
We've got Spy Family season 2 of Komi. We've got okay, I cannot say the Japanese name, but Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie, which I can't wait. I think that show might challenge my love for Dress Up Darling. Just saying. All right, and I like it might, like, dude. It might. And then of course Science Fell in Love. If you also watch that, so we've got 5, like what? That's like 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have like at least 5 rom-coms going into the next season.
Yeah. That's a big rom-com season.
Season of love. I'm gonna be down
here, dude.
Catastrophically, dude. I am gonna be. Am I crying from the romance animes or am I crying from my allergies? No one will know. But the thing here is, next season I'm gonna be down bad. I'm gonna be simping for every character there. I don't even know how I'm gonna do it. But this kind of got us thinking, though, right? Like, what is it that makes an enjoyable, like, romance, like a rom-com for us, right? Like, yep. I mean, I know that you do partake, you dabble. I would say I have an unhealthy relationship with it, as in I watch too much of it. But like, legitimately,
everyone loves a good rom-com, like Adam Sandler movies. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned
I have a box underneath my bed that says porn, and it's just all Meg Ryan movies.
Yes.
It's got all the Avengers, and it's got every Meg Ryan movie that I love, especially Sleepless in Seattle. I got that on DVD. I got that on Blu-ray. I've got, When Harry Met Sally. So I've been simping for years.
Crim is a long-term simper. He's been at this for a long time now.
Simp.
Yeah, as we have dubbed Crim in the past, the first simp. So yeah, we're gonna get into that a little bit later. We're gonna talk about the basic anatomy of what we like in an anime rom-com. But first, let's talk about some news that has happened in our sphere. There's a couple things that has happened recently that I think is worth mentioning. The Streamer Awards happened not too long ago, and that was hosted by on Cutie Cinderella's channel. And it was a grand event. They not only was it like a live stream show where they had like interview segments, like their own version of the red carpet, Streamer Awards, like you would think that they announced,
right?
But like it was like a big production, and I thought it was cool because like it's all homegrown, right? It was like it's on Cutie's channel. I know a lot of the kind of like Ludwig extended universe had helped bring it together with the people from the Yard.
LCU.
Yeah, like honestly, Ludwig Extended Universe is pretty big and pretty massive, and I felt like they showed up in good force in this event. And yeah, I don't know. There's like a couple big highlights. Ludwig won Streamer of the Year. I think Pokimane won like
the Legacy
Award. Yeah,
because I guess like the importance and everything that Pokey is, like for streaming. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and like don't get me wrong, I think award shows are they're whatever, but like the fact that it was run by streamers for streamers, like this homegrown sense, like and to have launched it at such a high level of production, I think was really impressive. So kudos to the people who ran that event, despite like any controversies on butthurt fans who wanted their streamer. My streamer didn't win, Sag, Madge, whatever.
I will say though, I'm a little butthurt that I didn't win strategy game streamer of the year. They must have lost my phone number or something like that. Clearly, right? Because come on, I'm number 1 black mage in my household. I'm the number 1 ranked player in my household. This is like 5 years in a row. I don't even understand, right? I'm winning by default, but whatever. Like,
Disguised Toast is sitting up there, and he's like, I guess they call me the Asian Avenger sometimes. Yeah. It's like, yes, I guess I am also that, but I will say my name instead.
I could be a Crim, I think, but I'll just go with Toast. That's good.
His trophy just has your name crossed out. So
I taught Toast everything I know. That's not true. That is not true whatsoever. But yeah. We'll pretend though, like next year I'll get it. I'll allow it next year because next year I'm going to win like 50 awards. It's totally gonna happen. And this podcast, we're gonna win. We're gonna win next year.
Oh yeah,
we're
best streamer podcast. Get out of here, the Yard with Ludwig and company.
Yard?
Like,
Who?
Yeah, who the what? It's all about the Nii-San Podcast. Clearly, with two premier talents on the forefront of all things pop culture and anime, things that you guys care about most, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is no first simp on their podcast.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, are they talking about the latest and greatest in rom-com news? Didn't think so. So, yeah, anyways, the streamer awards happened, so that was pretty fun. In other news, one thing that I had to put this in here because it's just so funny. But there was a man who, this is such a headline, the man who used U.S. COVID relief loan to buy Pokemon card sentenced to prison. And so basically the story is there's this guy who got audited, some man from Georgia, received $85,000, which was meant for the economic injury disaster loan, which is, meant to help businesses, like small businesses, pay their employees during, a downturn in the economy. And, he has what is called an entertainment service in Dublin with 10 employees. And instead, what he used that money for was for a first edition 9.5 graded Charizard for $57,789 or $57,789. I messed that up. But anyways, yeah, what you think about that, Crim? What is that money well spent?
I mean,
does he get to keep the Charizard?
Yeah, like that's the question. Like, if I'm in prison, but I know that like eventually when I get out, I've got a Charizard. Like
maybe worth.
I would contemplate it. No. Hold on. No. Okay, that is. It depends. Is this a company ran by the homies? Because like if the homies were there, they're like, yo, no, that makes sense. We collectively feel better now because our owner got a Charizard.
It's funny. That reminds me of a story from like a decade ago where these factory worker women collected their money for lottery tickets and they eventually won. And it was like this horrible power struggle between who got the money, I guess. Yeah, so I don't even like if you had to split up a Charizard into 10 pieces, which piece would you want? I just want the first edition corner, the little.
I'm a degen. See, I'm gonna offer up my pieces though, like my shares, if you would, through a game of like, hey, you want a high roll for the rest of these?
It's like flip it or rip it with the first edition Charizard.
Hey, dude, okay, before we do anything, I'll high roll you for the top left of Charizard. Yeah. Okay, cool. Then it's like going around Yu-Gi-Oh style, collecting all the star chips, right?
Yeah.
And then together.
Perfect.
Or I lose and hey.
I don't know. I thought this quote was also very funny from acting special agent in charge of FBI Atlanta. COVID-19 disaster relief loans are issued by the government to help businesses struggling to survive during a pandemic, not to use for trivial collectible items. I just want to say, Mr. Philip Whistler, trivial, excuse me.
Clearly, you do not understand. Yeah, you just do not understand. Okay, in all seriousness, priority-wise, that is terrible. That is like actually terrible. Why? Why would you get a first edition Charizard? Of all the things you could buy, if you're gonna be Sketch. Come on, go get, I don't know, like a golden yacht or something like that, right?
Get ahead on that cocaine addiction, you know? Like, there are better things to
crime. Do. Essentially, Xell just out here
while you
saying,
do crime, you know what I'm saying? Like, you already drifted yourself into a hole here, so why not?
Yeah, you go all in on the crime, right?
No, okay, but in all seriousness, this is stupid. This is terrible. You don't do that. Don't, please. This is all jokes, right?
We're mostly joking,
right? Crim, jokes. You wouldn't just use your COVID relief fund for magic cards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. And then last on my news list, this was posted a day prior, but a very special anime was announced, and I gotta say this one's a spicy one to say at the very least. This one is called My Life as Inukai-san's Dog.
Do not look that up yet.
Adaptation.
Safe search on, and do not go to images.
Safe search on, and I always like to go into the Reddit comments to tell me what I need to expect, you know, and like to see what the general vibe is. Top comment by Flaming Mangoes. This S has a lot of bestiality stuff, so I'm very surprised it's getting animated. And then the comment replying to it, what? She and the dog do it? And he responds, no, but there's a lot of sexual stuff that she does to the dog. There's this one scene where she sucks on the dog's tail and treats it like a pee-pee. And I'm just like, anime, we need to have a talk. And like, we need to stop.
Have we gone too far?
It's not even a matter of like knowing if we've gone too far. We have way past that point. All right. I know it's not about where we need to put the stop point because we are well past the stop point, right? Like last season we had World's End Harem, and
which is oddly really tame compared to all the
honestly pretty tame.
All the things.
But then we have stuff like redo of Healer, you know,
which is like Incel the anime.
Yeah, like, and now we have this. Like, where? Please, anime. Like, why is this like a competition to find the most degenerate? I mean, it's not. This isn't even close to the most degenerate stuff that's out there to be animated. And this isn't a challenge, anime studios. This is not me being like, "Oh, this is all you've got, Mister." Like, this is not a challenge.
Get weirder.
We know it can get weirder. We know it can get weirder. There are some legendary serial numbers out there that I know people know. Yes.
I know.
Anyways, I like. So my point is, we don't need those things adapted. And especially, like, I just think it's weird that we keep trying to hedge this line between anime and hentai. And I think it's, like, a super bad look for the anime community overall. And I just don't, why? Just why? I know why. Except I know why, but I don't know why.
So I thought this when I had first read the synopsis, I didn't think it was going to get like tail sucking weird. I thought it was more of just like, oh, okay, I get what's going to happen here. He's going to be a dude reincarnated as a cute dog. He's going to look up skirts and things like that, right? Let me guess, right? Sure.
So wholesome.
Sure. Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, that's obviously not wholesome, but I'm like, okay, sure. I get, like, sure, right?
Dude,
like,
just look at this visual, okay? Just look at this visual. I'm going to delete it from our message history because I don't want to have this in our history.
I saw. I know what it is. I looked it up. The image is essentially your point of from your point of view. You're staring up at the owner, and she's about to put the leash on you.
Yeah,
right?
and like
I'm just like
almost an upskirt shot, and obviously like I am no like Minecraft Christian server holder person, you know, like I'm not like saying everything should be as prude as possible and prim and proper, but we have launched way past that, right? Like if like I don't know if the fan service in Dress Up Darling is like a two-base run at in baseball. Like this one is like literally out of the stadium. You know what I mean? In terms of like how far we've hit the ball past the point of like what is considered acceptable. Like I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Am I weird, Crim? Tell me I'm crazy because like I just feel like the crazy person here. Like, am I just old and prude and old fashioned that I don't think bestiality in an anime is like an okay thing? I don't know.
You're just not progressive enough yet. I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Crim.
No,
you want to speak
honesty,
to us about your waifu?
Yeah,
dog.
Yo, first off, hold on. Weird. Second off. I watch things that have fan service, right? Like I'm okay with fan service. I'm like the farthest person from a prude person. But there's a difference between fan service and just outright weird, right? Like, like this is weird, dude. Like, yeah. You know, like this is one of those ones where it's like, okay, you know, you're out with the boys and you bring, yeah, dude, what about this? You guys like that one too? And the boys would look back at you and like, dude, you're kind of weird, man. That one's kind of weird. I'm sorry. I can go with you only so far. You know, that scene from Star Wars, Anakin, you're going down a path I can't follow. Well, it's more like anime, you're going down a path I can't follow. Yeah. Because there is a fine line of just freaking weird, right? Like we've had this one problem, like every season we've had a problematic anime. And there's been so many back to back that I'm okay. Like that I was just oddly like, wow, World's End Harem is just like, okay, well, it's very dumb, right? It's very dumb. But like every season we just push the envelope even farther with some even worse anime. So no, you're not weird. No, I don't think any of you should watch this. But look, I'm not here to yuck your yum, but that's kind of weird, right? Like, so
yeah, I literally wonder if some of these animation studios just decide that like, hey, the clickbait of what we're making, it generates enough views to continue getting these projects greenlit. Like, and I guarantee that's like the angle here for the business side of things is like, look, if we animate something that is like outlandish and gets people talking about, I mean, like this thread on Reddit has 9.1 thousand upvotes. Clearly it's generating buzz in like the most clickbaity way possible, right? So I don't know. This is again, like it's like they just spin the wheel on like random, really like smutty manga, and they're just like, I guess we landed on this one, guys. Sorry, tough luck, animators. You're gonna have to animate this girl sucking this dog's tail very lewdly. Like that's what we got for you. And the animators are like, are you kidding me? Imagine being the animators working on these scenes, and they're just like in graphic detail, like over like a long period of time, you're just drawing this girl doing weird things to a dog. So. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Okay, well, on that note, let's move into romance.
Thank you for segueing that into the main topic today.
So now let's get to the romantic part of the podcast.
Oh my God.
Well, damn, after following up that, I don't know if anything is as good as... No, okay. In all honesty, though, we've got, like, so here, let's get into romance, right? Oftentimes... romance, like you would watch like a romance movie, like let's just say, for example, When Harry Met Sally or Sleepless in Seattle, right? Like people just don't like that. There's an unrealistic aspect to it. It's kind of too cheesy cringe, right? But there is something that's enjoyable and like just endearing about romance anime. Because I think romance anime focuses actually on the characters. right? And like and the dynamics, well, considering a good one, right? Because so we're gonna go into this kind of talking about what we look for in romance anime. So I'm gonna start off with the preface of like I look for like really sweet, charming, funny interactions between the characters, right? Like it doesn't have to be realistic and believable. It just has to be like funny or well written, right? And usually anime knows how to do that. And I think that's why it works so well in like an anime romance kind of thing, right? And then on top of that, what I look for is not just by now, I'm somewhat a seasoned romance anime watcher, and I've watched too many. And so what I now look for is not just the fluff. I want to see real like interactions, real bonding between them. And most importantly, like why I loved Horimiya so much was because it did something different. It showed me what their relationship was like after they got together, right? It wasn't like 23 episodes of just like ooh woo and trying to get with her and then the end, right? It was like, they got together and then it kept going, right? And so I want more of that.
Yeah, so let's break this down into like kind of categories of like what makes up because I think you've kind of talked a little bit about it where it's the characters, it's the stories, it's like what anime itself brings to the rom-com thing. So let's talk about that one by one. Like why do you think rom-coms and anime go hand in hand? Like what is it about like rom-com animes that just seems to like work so well in that genre? Because I think rom-coms are a very popular genre and for a good reason, but I'm kind of curious what you're thinking on that.
Like what makes it so that why anime and
like
and
specifically
rom-com specifically?
Anime, yeah, like what makes like anime a good medium for rom-com?
Yeah, okay. So it's because you're kind of already in this like animated world. Your suspension for disbelief is much higher, right? Because it's like, well, okay, in real life, if there's no way I'm going to meet the love of my life at the top of the Space Needle. If anything, yeah, okay, sure, maybe I don't know that, but I guarantee you if I say hi to every person at the top there, I'm going to be escorted off premises.
It's a numbers game.
Okay, all right. Well, outside of Xell's numbered game, I think that
have you tried it? You don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? It's moot. I have nothing to say. Damn, you're right. I gotta go book a ticket. I'll be right back.
I already booked it for you. See you, dude. Tell me how it goes.
I just think that it's easier to believe in anime, and on top of the way anime writes comedy, why is it that anime can sell us on slice of life? If you watched a live action show, movie, or something where people just like, hey, I'm going to go to the photo, I'm going to go to Kinko's, I'm going to make photocopies.
Yeah,
that's not as entertaining, right? That's because Western media and like a lot of stuff just don't know how to write. Like anime knows how to just turn the most simple, mundane thing into the most hilarious and just like grander than any kind of experience, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it works so well in anime, because the writing and the way they do it in anime is so well done, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, they can make it into an epic moment, right? And then on top of that, as I had mentioned, it's an animated world, so you kind of have the suspension of disbelief, but even with that in mind, they still manage to make real, cute, and genuine interactions between the characters. And yeah. I think that's a lot just because of how they write a lot of their stuff.
Dude, I fully agree. I just feel like when we enter the realm of rom-com, it's like we put the filter on, and suddenly even in real world shows, right, in rom-coms, like you said, like they're situational comedies. They these aren't like normal day-to-day things, but like sometimes when we put ourselves into romantic situations, we tend to overthink. We tend to make things larger than life. Like when you think of yourself when you were in high school and you met your crush for the first time and your heart is beating 1,000,000 miles an hour, and just like it's larger than life in that moment. And I think like anime does such a great portrayal of like people getting kind of being larger than life in that moment, right? And I think that's like one of the beauty of like anime specifically in rom-coms, and like even in real world like movies and whatnot, like they do the same thing. It's larger than life, but like we accept it because it's like when you're in the moment, man, you're just in the moment, there's no you're not thinking as rationally, and I think that's like why it can work so well. And I think the same thing for animes. I think that's like a big thing. So let's talk about in romance animes, like what is it that you look for before you're like, oh yes, this rom-com, this one's like a banger rom-com. Like what are like things that you look for?
So right off the bat, I want to know that the two characters, the main couple, if you will, that's going to be driving the show is enjoyable. Like,
yeah.
that sounds obviously kind of like, yeah, of course, why? But like, you would be surprised, right? Like, I mean, like, I want to know that like the main love story, the main couple that I'm supposed to follow is something that, you know, I can like get into. I can really just like put my like heart into it, right?
Yeah.
Take my heart on the journey with them. And I think that it's hard to do that if like the dude's just creepy, right? Like it's like right, like if the dude's just flat out creepy, I'm immediately pulled out. I don't care, right?
What's like an example? Like, do you have an example that you can think of?
Like one of the recent shows, right, I was excited for was the one that was like two assassins that are meant to be in love with each other, or like that, or not meant to be in love,
Love
but
to kill
like,
or something, or
yeah,
kill.
love to kill or kill to love. I don't remember, but so clearly the main like the female lead is not into the guy at all, and he is just persistent. He's creepy. He stalks her. He follows her, and it's like that's not love, dude. That's not even romantic. That's just creepy. That's just creepy, flat out. So. I think that's one. Sometimes there's things where like, look, I understand. I've watched Love Hina. I love that show. I enjoyed it. And every now and then the dude falls into like, yeah, of course he trips and falls into boobs, right? Okay, sure, whatever. But like, if he's like creepy and stalking, I don't like that. Or if like, let's just say the female counterpart just is like not realistic enough. Like she doesn't see, like she seems like she was written by dudes to get dudes off, right? Like,
I'm really curious what your example of this is going to be, because that's like such a funny thing. But like, I know what you're talking about, but like,
right? It's like, oh yeah, well, I think this is how a girl would respond, right? Like, no, she would never respond like that, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a real person interaction. So, example, let's just think about like some of the older animes, some of the older romance animes. There's so many of them where they're just like the guy is just persistent and creepy, and she just like is angry and then falls in love with him. Right? That never happens. That what? No, dude, that's not real life. Like, she gets angry and then there's a restraining order, dude. Like, that's not how that works, man. So, like, I think that's, like, what I would say is the most... It sounds simple, right? But you'd be amazed how hard it is to actually find that. And then the way they're introduced and, like, the way they set up their relationship is big, right? Like, so why do we like... like even... I'm even okay with the simplicity of, like, how cute the quintuplet show is, right? Mm-hmm. Because like the main tutor dude's interactions with all five of the girls are all really sweet and charming in their own way. Yeah, it's very much so written in a way where it's like, yeah, this is a harem, right? This is a harem, so this one is definitely one of the ones where dudes are, you know, like, more for dudes than anything else. But there are genuinely cute interactions written in there. Yeah. So I do like that, right? I can get behind that. I'm not gonna say that it's like you need to have both. It could be one or the other. Like if there are cute interaction moments, I'm here for that. Like watching Miku confess her love, I thought that was cute, right? I thought that was a grand moment. It was cute, and I'm a sucker for that, right? But at the same time, like that one is very much so like, okay, this is how a dude would definitely think this would happen, right? Like, and I know that would never happen. But if you back it up with some cute interactions, I guess that's fine. But like, it's got to be one or the other, right? You got to give me something.
Yeah, I feel like
to hold on to.
Main couple chemistry is so important, and like, it's one of the reasons why I love Bunny Girl Senpai, because that main couple has like top tier banter together. Yep. And like, I love that. And because TPH, I know you're gonna say that this is blasphemy, but like, I'm sick of a lot of shows kind of reusing the same sort of templates for main couple, where it's like, I'm a shy boy, I can't talk to anybody, and then in comes this loud, really pretty, popular girl who just like just decides that they want to be part of your life. And it's like, Wow, that's crazy.
You
and
dress up,
convenient.
darling.
Yeah, I'm talking about dress, but it's not even that. I mean, there's also like teasing. What is it? The shikamori or whatever. Like that style of thing too. And like, there's like a good amount of rom-coms these days that do that. But like, I love and this is where like quintessential quintuplets. Even I know like we're gonna say like despite a harem, but like. I think that show does that really well where like the main character is very solidly like I am my own guy. Yeah. And like I am progressing the show on my own terms, right? Like he's like, I'm a tutor. I want to do my job well. And that's what kind of like leads him down this rabbit hole. And so it wasn't like, oh, like the girls had to like go chase after this guy who is too ooh in the side, you know, like I love the fact that it's not like that. And so, like, I think, like, for me, that main couple chemistry can really, really carry a show. And like, that's, like, the first thing that like, comes up into my mind when I watch a rom-com is, like, how good is that main chemistry? And if it's good, man, like, I'm sold. Like, like, again, my buddy girl senpai, like, that one just, like, stands out to me in, like, top tier in that regard. And then like
they had some amazing chemistry in that show, and it's exactly why I love Kaguya's like you know Love is War.
Yes, right? Yeah,
because it's such a hilarious dynamic. Yeah, right. They're both too proud to admit anything. So and it good. Just and they continue like it's like. I get it. I've watched the live action movies. I watch a lot of the animes where there's like, oh, the miscommunication comedy, right? Like, and then like in this one, they miscommunicate, but they don't kind of like correct it at all. They just continue to just keep. They continue to double down, right? Both of them do. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so funny because it's also something that isn't really normal, right? You normally have the shy dude, you have the over the top girl or something like that, right? And so now you're starting to see a different like set of characters come into the romance world. I also like that. Like, so the reason why I like what's the name of the new show coming up? Like, I cannot remember its full name, but Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie. The reason why I like everything about this is because yes, it's still the shy guy, but this girl feels more realistic so far. Then like let's just say Marin, right? She's just like, oh yeah, I'll do everything, you know, like and I'm all of this, all of that, yeah. But this girl like Shikamori feels like she's an actual like person.
Is realism like a pretty important thing for you for rom-coms?
It's not because it doesn't have to be because clearly I watch some dumb stuff out there too. But like I think realism helps. It definitely helps. Like it makes it so that I can enjoy a character more, right? Like I like Marin, but like let's be honest here. There is no way in my lifetime I will ever meet anyone like that, right? Like there's just
telling you just go to the Space Needle and just
okay. Maybe she's at the Space Needle, you know, and waiting to meet me there so we can go to the beach and then she can like that would never happen, dude. Okay, so. Like, trust me, I watch this stuff and I know what works and what couldn't work. And I just do not believe there is ever a Marin. But I do believe that Shikamori, I believe that this show, I do believe that she could exist. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, so it is believable. So it's not that it's a must, but it does definitely help, right?
Yeah.
And it also really helps that, like, main character... There's tons of shy guys, so like I think that's why I'm like whatever. Sure, a shy guy does exist. I mean, me being an awkward shy dude myself, sometimes it makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know. Believability does add a lot to it, though.
Interesting, yeah. So, because like I was thinking for myself, anyways. Like I think the situations don't have to be realistic at all, but like. The kind of common feeling, I guess, is like depending on how well they like portray the feeling of romance in the show, like it can be awesome or not awesome. So like, for example, when we use Kaguya-sama, right? Kaguya-sama is ridiculous. They go to this high school where like apparently the club cap, you know, like the high school like leads, they run the country essentially, and they're all business diplomats and this stuff. But like the center core of that show is on the understanding that like it's like you guys like each other, but you guys don't want to be the first one to admit it, right? And like I think that's like a very realistic feeling, I think, for a lot of people, where you're like, I'm not sure if I want to admit my feelings quite yet, because you don't like that feeling of vulnerability. That's a very real thing, right, Crim? Anyway,
yeah, dude, why? Who do you have a?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Why, just like, hey, Crim. Yeah, okay.
Okay, all right.
But that's the thing, is like the core of it is what makes that even if the situation is so ridiculous, that's what makes the show work for me. And like I've watched tons of rom-coms where the situations are beyond ridiculous, right? Like sometimes there's like supernatural events, like my Bunny Girl Senpai is like that. Monogatari is like that. Your Name, supernatural stuff. But like despite that, it's like the core like scenes where there's like that heartfelt moment where you really feel like the emotions that are being like that is like the thing that like that just gets my rom-com boner like rock hard. You know what I'm saying?
Like my rom-com boner is rock hard at like exactly like you how if a show can capture a feeling, right? Like romance animes need to capture a feeling specifically. And if they know how to do that, like if they know how to capture the feeling of what it's like to go on a first date, if they know how to capture the feeling of like what it's like to actually propose or to finally get in that situation, right? To do that, anything like those lines, and if they nail those scenes, I think that's it. That's all you can ask for a romance anime, right? Because that's what you want to feel when you're watching that. So.
What's like a top scene in your mind? I'm trying to think of like moments where I like, your heart just melts at a moment. Like,
mine melts, but not because of like happy. Mine, like actually, they're all like hella sad.
The thing is like that works too, right? Like I think not all rom-coms have to. Well, I guess romances and rom-coms. I know we mostly oriented this around rom-coms, but like sometimes these shows also have like tragedy in them, right? And you're like, oh god, that really hits home. Like I think of oh my god,
April?
Yes, I was thinking Your Lie in April. Like I knew it was coming. Like at the very end, this is spoilers by the way if you haven't watched this 10-year-old anime yet, but like when you find out that she has finally passed away and she's got that letter and it's just near, I remember being like, oh no, and like you knew it was coming, like all the signs are there, but like once it was confirmed, my like entire body just like melted into the ground at that moment and just like turned into just salty tears as like like even though that show is so vibrant and so colorful throughout the whole thing. But
that's the beauty of the show, right?
Yeah.
Like, because despite how dark her life is and everything going on with her, she still chose to 110% everything in her life.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the beauty of it. And all the colors, they were bright and vibrant because, it like, at least that's what I took away from it, right? Like, it's just like everything is meant to look so happy, cheery, and bright because... it's life is what you kind of make it, right? So I think, God, I remember watching that scene too, and like I just remember crying so much. I sat there, and then my roommate comes home perfectly, and then he just looks at me, and then he sees me rewinding that scene to watch it again, and then cry again. Like, I remember I rewinded it because I needed to feel it again.
Yeah. Oh man,
dude. Oh my God. And then like, of course, like have Your Name, right? And like if you have like I know that Your Name has like all the flaws, like the plot holes, like but why would you as a teenager not just check your phone more or do any of that? Sure, whatever, right? But like I watched that and I was swept off my feet, dude, when they met on the top of the mountain and like the scene like and it finally merged and you could tell like he's like I love you, and it's like I can't tell your name by this. And I'm like no. I'm gonna cry right now. But like legitimately that scene like moved me, dude. Like, and why? Because it was able to nail a feeling. Right. And it was such a beautiful scene. It was grander than ever. It's not realistic, or maybe I don't know. Maybe I forgot. But the thing here is I think that's exactly what you want from a romance movie, right? Or a romance anime, anything along those lines. So like God, dude, there's so many beautiful moments, and like there's, of course, like if you haven't watched Orange is a good one, and it's like essentially a group of friends that try to stop this dude who like eventually goes on to content warning, he does suicide, right? But the thing here is the whole point is they try to go back in time to figure out what was wrong to prevent it from happening, right? But along the way, there's also a romance line that's going, and it's just sad, it's dark, it's great, it's a very good romance anime.
Yeah.
So
okay. Let's bring it to some happy stuff, because I think like the rom-coms that are coming up are definitely on the happier beat. I mean, I might be wrong, but like,
yeah, maybe it was. Okay, so like if we wanted to talk about like some of the more happier scenes, right? Like that I thought were one of them was like I just mentioned, like Miku when she confesses to the main character, right? And he's like,
yeah,
Daisuke, like I love this, I love this, I love this, I love this, and I love, and points right there. But she baited him, you see. But she baited him because the sisters were behind. But like I was like,
dude, the Nino scene in the work when they're like working together,
right? That was cute.
I love that. I love
cute.
the debate moment, because like I think a lot of, especially in harem shows, where like, because I think of Nisekoi, where it feels like a lot of the show is just to blue ball you in from confessions, and they're like get very close to being like, oh, I like you, and then the fireworks go off, or like some loud lawnmower goes off and you can't hear or something. But like they bait that in the Nino scene, and I love that, and
because it was well done. You see, it was very well done.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because like Quintessential Quintuplets is like such an easy show to write off because the concept is so dumb, but like in the show it has these great moments, and like I'm gonna bring it back to our day with Love Hina, and like there are so many moments in Love Hina where there's some sort of like personal revelation that he has this with basically every girl in that show, where they kind of like come to a mutual understanding, and each of those scenes are like beautiful, because like if you guys haven't watched Love Hina, he's staying at this girl's dorm, and they do the whole harem thing where he's like, oh, maybe he likes her, maybe she likes him, and with a lot of like you kind of knew off in the beginning who was going to be the couple, but like they still go on that personal journey with each and every one of the characters, and you get to know them, and like I love that, and I can't man, it's been so long I can't put my thumb on a specific scene. But besides like them, hitching up,
getting
and like
hitched,
finally,
which was great, by the way. But and like considering when this came out, this is like I think the harem, right? And like because like the problem with harems is like it has a bad rap because harems usually mean like just only boobies, only fan service, right? And like only like kind of like panty scene stuff like that, right? Yeah. But like the good harems are the ones that sure they're gonna have some fan service, but they actually have like romance in it. Yeah, like there's actually it's not meant for you to just get a boner, right? Like it's got romance in it, and I think those are like the best ones.
It's super easy to write off harems because like it's obviously appealing to it's meant to be appealing to the male fantasy, like, oh, a guy who gets to talk to a bunch of girls, wow, incredible, right?
But Fruits Basket, that was good.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
and that's
Fruits
a harem.
Basket,
there's very few. I mean, okay, but like it does have the harem-y parts, right?
Yeah.
But like for girls, right? Or like for whoever, right? But I think one thing that is mentioned, like one character that I was also going to mention is in the Love Hina is like the Motoko part when he the one. I love when he goes to like kind of just like gets closer to Motoko, and I thought that was such a sweet arc. Yeah, and if you do remember, then that's like the she's the Blade princess. She's great,
and she's the one who has the biggest trouble getting along with him in the beginning too. She was like the most like, get out of my way, otherwise I'm gonna hit you with this wooden katana.
She's very tsundere, but like very, but like and like all of them were great characters. I did think it was like a little weird with the little the half sister thing or the stepsister. I'm like okay. That part little that one didn't age as well, but everything else is really good in the show, and luckily that arc kind of just blows by pretty quick. So like I mean there's there's a lot there, right? And I think you got to have the romance, or else it's just pretty much kind of like lightweight hentai, right? Like that's all it is. If there's no romance, it's just lightweight hentai. And I don't care about
hentai.
that, dude. Yeah, it's like the Kirkland brand like hentai, right? It's just like, like I don't care about that. I don't need that. I want to be swooned, man. Believe it or not, men only want one thing, and it's disgusting. I want to be swooned, swept off my feet, and asked to go to the fireworks like March parade or something. The cherry blossom festival. That's what I want.
So we've talked about like the good side of like what makes a rom-com work. What are like the things that turn you away from rom-coms? And we kind of mentioned stuff, right? Like I think harems and a lot of the kind of like the smuttier side of rom-coms tend to delve in this way where it's like you said, it's Kirkland brand hentai. You're like, I wanted to watch hentai, but like with their clothes on, essentially. Yeah. Like I just so like those shows obviously they don't do it for me in any sort of way, and there's quite a few rom-coms I think that end up being that way, and then also I think like especially in harems too, and I kind of mentioned this before, but harems that sort of overlive their welcome and they start to add in things just to like complicate the storylines, and I find that kind of frustrating. Like Nisekoi was like on its way to being like one of my like favorite mangas that I was reading at the time when I was, I don't know, this was like years ago. And then they just kept adding another girl to the harem, another girl to the harem, another girl to the harem, another one. They
just kept spawning
another
them.
one.
Yeah.
Like suddenly the main writer got really close with DJ Khaled, and it's just like just another one. And it's funny because like so many shows I feel like take the same rubric as Nisekoi. Like I think Rent a Girlfriend kind of has like a similar sort of start. I'm not saying Rent a Girlfriend is Nisekoi. I'm not saying that.
All right.
But
bro.
I'm just saying that like Nisekoi sort of kind of created this formula that got repeated a lot, and sometimes it ends up being pretty poor in my opinion. And so I will
say that I agree that if they constantly introduce new girls just to like give you boners and constantly just like, like that's all it is, right? So that you can just meet new girls. Yeah. That doesn't progress the romance story that I want, right? Because I'm okay with introducing a bunch of new characters, but once you establish those characters, stop putting more. Don't add a new person to the harem. Follow these core characters and let me see the resolution and see where they all end up, right? Like Horimiya had a big cast, but they did for the most part a good job balancing the cast, except for my one girl. It's like, but like,
dude, green hair girls never get it.
Sakura, dude, it's such a sad story. Anyways, and trust me, I've watched my trash. I just know when I'm watching trash, like High School DxD. Hypothetically, like I mean. Underneath High School DxD's boobies, there's actually a lot of story. No, okay, there's no story there. But like that, and like I did watch Prison School and all those things, and like those
oh my
are
God,
shows
Prison School is actually hilarious. Sorry,
Prison School was funny though. Like Gaku like playing with his toys is like hilarious. Okay, anyways, I want to follow the romance of the characters, right? So you can introduce a point. Like I think Rent a Girlfriend does a fine job. It only introduces Mami, who we all are unified on that she is best girl. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. She's the worst.
Like everyone listening just goes, their neck just snaps. You just killed half our listening base.
Because like there's Mami, there's Sumi, and then there's Ruka, and then there's Chizuru, right? Like so you have your main four. So and that's it. And I love that. And I love it. That's it. You have a shitty main character, but like I think the girls are so cool in their own way. And like I know that I would never personally be like, yo, Mommy stan, but I would say that I'm intrigued about who she is and why she's the way she is. So I kind of want to read about that, right? Like I want to know about that.
Kind of like listening to a true crime, podcast.
Yeah. Like I want to understand why this person's like a complete mass murderer, right? But yeah, like so yeah, like I think if you have too big a cast, that's something I don't like. Mm-hmm. Too big a cast, sorry. It's not that. It's just constantly trying to introduce mainstays to the cast. Yeah. And I think that's a no bueno.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Another thing I would say I dislike. I mean, so we've kind of we've touched base on the whole, like, yeah, it's just pretty much ecchi, it's just pretty much lightweight hentai, and then of course there's too many characters. Another thing is that I think if a character, like, when, and we've also mentioned creepy, but like there's like another thing I didn't like was just like, I guess, like, I can't think of any one right off the top of my head right now, but like as I had mentioned, like, there is a part where if the girl just does not make sense, like who she is as a person, right? Because I think this is very common when it comes to like romance animes, because I feel like romance animes are mostly catered towards dudes, and I feel like it should be more open, as we slowly are getting more, but just nowhere near the level that are catered towards dudes, right? I don't know. Like, I don't expect any girl to just drop everything in her life and then all of a sudden be like, hey, dude, I now just want to live for you. My existence is for you. Right? Like, and I'm like, you know what I'm talking about too, because there's lots of animes that are just like that.
There's a lot of character, like, I call them
Characters,
doormats.
sorry. Yeah, like Sakura.
Doormat characters. Yeah, Sakura is a classic example, right? I think
Right.
Onodera from Nisekoi. Sorry, I just keep going in on Nisekoi.
You really didn't like parts of Nisekoi, right? But like,
dude, Nisekoi was such a failed like thing for me because I liked it for so long. And then imagine if Rent a Girlfriend just started adding like more characters, and they're just like, yeah, we just need to
I get
hit
it.
like the So oh god,
I thought that like, and you know, actually, funny enough, as I say that you know, like, doormat characters, I'm also like a huge fan of Ruka, but like my inconsistencies, but like legitimately, Ruka is the best. She's such a sweetheart. I'm just blue hair girls, man. Blue hair girls need to get an episode, like, just a win. We just need a W. I want a main character to get with a blue haired girl. I just want a W. Everyone's like, yeah, but Gajeel in Fairy Tail. No, he's not a main. I want a main. Like Gray and Juvia, okay, maybe. Although Gray like hates like pretty much like Juvia for a good amount of the time, but yeah, you know, like there's a lot. I don't know, like has there historically been a blue-haired girl that lands the main?
I'm just thinking about it. Oh, they have a rough record, man. I'm thinking of like Rem and Subaru. I'm thinking of
they're
Hero
on the outside
and
always.
Darling in the Franxx. What's her face?
Ichigo,
yeah. Minamori from Toradora.
Yeah, God, I love Toradora. That's such a good one too.
Man, yeah,
I mean,
it's rough out there for blue-haired girls.
Yeah, are there blue-haired girls that get a W? Let us know in the comments, because I can't think of any blue-haired girls that land the main. That's the issue, right? So, but yeah.
Oh wait, not Minamori. I forgot the blue-haired girl, but she's awesome. From Toradora. I forgot her name. It's like I don't know. Anyways,
also, if you watched trash shows like Domestic Girlfriend, even Rui there didn't even get it. Not that I watched that show.
Not that you watched it, right? It's all theoretical.
No, it's theoretical, but Rui, yeah. Oh, can we also make it a thing where, like, what if? Hear me out, okay? This is a really weird concept. I want everyone to focus on this because, like, editor, if you can like zoom in on my face, because I'm being serious. Can we just have people fall in love and them not be related? I know this is like, I'm not trolling, like, you know, like, I'm kind of serious, like, you know, like, what if, okay, just hear me out. What if people just fell in love with each other and they weren't siblings or step siblings? Yeah. Trust me, American adult film industry. Not
also
everything
SAO.
has the SAO. God, dude, stop falling in love with your sibling. like that's all I want. I just want a normal love story without it being related. Don't put the related part in there. Don't put a lolly in there. Like, come on, dude. Like, come on. So yeah, you know, that's my biggest gripe. I mean, there were parts where I would watch like what's the show? Fudge. Arrow Manga Sensei. I watched that. I know, and I'm just
Oh,
like,
you
can
admitted
just-
to okay. So you
I
watched that, but
I
not
watched
High
it.
School
I watched
DxD, and
well, I mean, look, I say I don't openly admit High School DxD because I am not worthy. That show is above me.
Yeah.
Like I can't speak its name. I am not worthy of it. My Queen Rias. So, like, yeah, like I think it'd be nice to know that, you know, maybe you just don't fall in love with your siblings. It's kind of cool, right? Like if we just love people normally.
yeah, I mean, we just
Am I
talked
being
about
weird? Am I
a
weird?
show about bestiality. It seems like it's so we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, like because
Call
that's
me
like several steps.
old-fashioned. Call me old fashioned, you know?
Call me old fashioned, but yeah, maybe the whole doing your family thing should stop. I don't know. Crazy take. I think it's like also not very like genetically good. Just saying, like it's also like not good for the gene pool for people. Like,
Fair.
But anyways,
fair, you know, and I like, and I guess to also like go back on another thing here is I would love to see. I think something I'd love to see is just more characters that have like more personality, right? Like even more.
Yes.
So
yes,
I know that this show kind of gets a bad rap because of, you know, her unrealistic measurements. But Uzuki-chan, which I've watched. No, I won't lie to you. And yes, it is also slightly ecchi at points. But yeah, like I will say though that I like the fact that she's purposely annoying, and she's trolly, right? And
Yeah.
she's got the silly like vampire tooth thing going. Like every time she smiles, like I think that's funny. I like that.
I again like I want to get away from the sort of self-insert characters who are shy, don't have a lot going for them. Like maybe again this is just a thing where maybe I'm just older now, so like I really just relate to that character less, but I also just think that they're less interesting. Just like intrinsically, when you have a character who doesn't have much of a outwards personality and not a lot of things going for them, it's kind of hard to cheer for them, like regardless. And so it's one of those things where on both sides, for the main lead, male lead, and the female lead, like I prefer them to have good outwards chemistry rather than like one person just relentlessly kind of chasing the other. And that's like, again, like Bunny Girl Senpai is so great at that. Like they're so back and forth about it. I think Fruits Basket is another example where, like, you know, the main girl, she's very airheaded and stuff like that, but she's still very outgoing.
She's such a
and
sweetheart.
outward. Yeah. And even the dudes, I guess even in this case, the dudes are more kind of withdrawn, but even they like get into it and they're full of personality and life. And so like, I want to see more of that. And it kind of seems like, especially in these sort of like high school dramas, where
Can we get away from high school? Also, that's
yeah,
another
actually,
thing.
just that too, right? Like,
can we just leave high school?
can
one
we
time?
just leave high school? Like, what's the
Remake Our
college-
Lives?
Remake Our Lives is great.
Thank you.
Older, they're in college, fantastic. I was thinking also the one. It's hard to date a
Wotakoi?
Wotakoi, yes. Like
God,
Wotakoi,
that is a S tier romance. Read it too if you haven't.
Chef's Kiss. I mean, again, it might be just because I'm getting older, so I relate to like high school shenanigans less. But like, I loved the maturity of that, and that's actually, you know, what's funny is Horimiya has a very mature take on relationships
Right.
a lot of times, and that's in high school. But like, I didn't mind it because of the tone, and I think like
Right.
I like that a lot. And I think the same thing with Your Name. Like, it never felt like the romance was, I guess, like immature or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, that's
I don't know if-
exactly true, right? Like the love, the romance, the interactions were way, almost, I would say, almost too mature for high school, which makes
Yeah,
it then
almost
like
a little bit.
kind of like, but whatever, right? Like, sure, like at this point, I think I'm also with you. Maybe I'm also just getting older. I mean, I am getting older, but the thing is,
sure ain't getting younger.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting younger. So, but yeah, like I love seeing Remake Our Lives because that was a good romance. It took us out of high school, thank God. Wotakoi, another one. Like, you know, like it turns out elder weebs also have a love life issue. Okay,
Yeah.
animators,
Don't forget
like
about us.
Yeah, like, but get out of here. Okay, I'm the person that's got the love life issues. But like legitimately though, right? Like, I mean, it's just nice to know that we have more stuff out there. Take it out of high school. Give it like I know that I guess it's okay if like the interactions are like Horimiya, which is very mature. So and whatnot. So I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
Have you ever watched a anime called Gamers?
Yeah. Oh God, the green-haired girl was my favorite. What's her name?
I forgot all of their names. The main takeaway I had from that show, which is also like a slight pet peeve of mine, but like they did it to an art form, is like the classic misunderstanding things.
But they did it well.
They
did
pushed
it
that
well,
boundaries so far to an art form, but it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating, and they only get the pass because they you know, like most people would be like, hey, do you think it's a good idea if they constantly just misunderstand each other and they like turn it down to like a 7 out of 10? Gamers was like, nah, this is not a problem at all. And they just cranked it up to 12 and it worked for them. But that's the kind of like immature like thing that I dislike in a lot of high school based rom-coms. And so I want to see more people being forward with their feelings, because I think that's just like a good life lesson, man. Like I think like good romances start from people being willing to be vulnerable and like to like be connected as people. And I think that's like a beautiful thing, and like I think that's like what more mature romance looks like. And even though that journey of becoming vulnerable can be difficult, like I love seeing that. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
It's also like, did you watch Snafu?
Yes. Also very mature, like show.
I really liked Snafu, right? And I feel really bad for Yui. I feel really bad for Yui. Like I every time I'm like, dude, I am so sorry. Like, God, dude, I want to cry for her, dude, because I'm just like, dude, she. Yeah, hello. Oh, it's too sweet. My heart stopped.
She is a sweet girl.
Yeah, so like, I mean, there's definitely some really good ones out there. So
no,
just kind of gotta ignore the fluff. But there, like, I think like the immaturity humor of gamers, I think worked, because whereas I don't like it either if it feels too high schooly, but the fact that they just turned it up to 11 on sheer stupidity made it so that it was like, it was hilarious, right? Like, so it's like, it was watchable because it was such a meme within itself. So I'm for it if you can do it right, but like it's a line you're gonna have to walk. Yeah. So now, okay, we're pushing towards the end of the cast here, so we gotta wrap things up, but I want to ask you. So of these shows coming up from this season, right? To tie it all back to the Simp season, if you will, Simp spring, if you will. I am curious. Are any of these? Which ones are you most excited for? Like, because we've got a lot of love next season.
There's a lot. I think personally, I'm very excited for some of the next season of things. So like Kaguya-sama season 3, if it's half as good as season 1 and 2, Kaguya-sama season 3 is going to be a banger. I loved Komi Can't Communicate season 1 as well. Like it's funny in this show, it's not really that romantic between I'm going to call him Midoriya because he just reminds me of Midoriya and Komi.
It's just more comedy.
It's more comedy, and they're like the romance is budding, and you can tell. But I just live for. What's her face? What's their face? Not you. You're
Nijimi.
Not in the show.
Nijimi. I'm Nijimi, right? Like
they're amazing. Sorry, since they go gender fluid, I guess. So they're just amazing, and they carry the show for me. So I want to see more of them. And then for the new shows that are coming up, obviously Crim has hyped up. Shikamori's not just a cutie for me, and I think other people are also just very excited for that. Same thing with Spy X Family. So those 4 shows are super high up for me. I'm not as excited for the return of Science Fell in Love. That one was I watched a little bit of season 1 when it was first airing, and it was a little robotic for me. Like, it's a science love show.
She starts slow and robotic, right? Kind of like meh. And then I watched it again, and she actually gets more character along the way.
Yeah, it felt like the show. I mean, like when I say it that way, it sounds like I missed the point. Like, haha, scientists who, but like the way I would describe it is that it feels like it was written to check boxes, not for like the good interactions, you know. And so, that's where like Kaguya-sama and Komi Can't Communicate. I'm really excited for those shows. How about you?
So I think right out the gate, I am the most excited for Shikamori. And then of course, then it's Kaguya-sama. But like, I think Spy Family, when that releases, that's gonna catch fire. Because this, I've read through it, and even reading through it, I can't get enough. I just actually cannot get enough. This show, this manga, and what I assume the show will be just as great, is just hilarious. It is drop dead hilarious. It is wholesome as hell. It's cute. The romance is there, and it's funny because like because the synopsis, I'm not spoiling anything, but for anybody that doesn't know, essentially an agent has to fake being in a family. So he has to draft members to be in his family. So he has to get a fake wife, a fake daughter, right? And you can kind of figure out what happens from there. But how they do the interactions, right? Like where they're like, she's like, you know, the fake wife, she's like, oh, wait, am I in love with him? No. This is because she's also an assassin. And the daughter's a telepath. So, but the dad, the agent, doesn't know that. So the best, and like it is hilarious how much they do have a little bit of that two separate pages kind of like humor.
Yeah,
but like it's like, how do you not know that she's an assassin, right? Like, but yeah. So like I think this show is probably my most excited thing, and I don't know. I mean, I would say this is more romance. I know some would argue that Spy Family is more just like action and comedy, which is totally fair. But I think there's a lot of romance at its core. Whereas like Komi, that's definitely just comedy, right? Yeah. With a little bit of romance there. So I think Spy Family is the wholesome good that I am in desperate need of, and I cannot wait to see. So I want to watch that, and then it's got to be probably Shikamori.
Gotcha. Yeah, this next season is shaping up to be already pretty solid, considering like that's 4 shows that we're both just like very excited about. So we'll do in the close future, we'll do an actual overview of like shows that we are excited for in the spring season. So look forward to that. Any closing thoughts before we close up this episode?
Oh man. No.
As the first simp, you know, like any words that you'd like to grace us in this episode?
The first simp would just say, yo, dude, just make more adorable romances that aren't related, like sibling related. And get us out of damn high school.
Let's keep it to human relationships as well. And
yeah, well, okay, hold on. Demons are okay. Demons and vampires.
Alrighty,
okay.
And so
Succubine,
with that, guys,
you know, like, okay,
thanks for watching. Thank you guys.
Also, I mean, like, maybe there are other animals.
Okay, comment, and subscribe. I'm just gonna keep talking over Crim, and we appreciate all the support we've gotten.
Demons are fine.
Yeah, sure, Crim. Yes, in your eyes, they might be. Okay, so
Musume
thanks for watching, guys. See you guys. Peace.
Peace.